Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Absolutely Women's Football Show. We've had so much happening today. We can't wait to talk to you all about it. But of course, the most important thing, the WSL is back this weekend. So running order of the show. Thank you for everyone who's already chatting away in the chat, by the way. We do love and appreciate you all. So we're going to be doing a bit of latest news, breaking news first. Then we're going to be rounding up the championship from the weekends. That's match day 2. And then we're going to be doing our WSL preview. So do stick around because we've got lots of fun. And you know what Paul's like when we're getting started on Man United. So grab your popcorn and your drinks if you haven't already, because it's going to be a good one. So good evening to Mark. You're always first in the comments, Mark. I love that you're here before us. It's great. Good evening to our lovely Sam, buzzing for this evening. And so are we. Emma's in the chat. Good evening. Emily's with us as well. Matthew, we will get onto that because, Arsenal, unfortunately, first piece of breaking news, lost 1-0 away to Hacken in the Champions League. Not without some decent chances, though, but it got very, very scrappy at the end. Was anyone watching the last bit of the Arsenal match?
No. I was quite enjoying Man City scoring 5, thanks to a lot in part to Viv, and Arsenal just struggling to find their way through. Coincidence? Maybe not.
Hey, opening weekend. We'll talk all about it. And good evening to Graham. Hello. And Blue Pro in the chat is from Indonesia. Well, hello. Welcome.
The reach of this podcast.
I have to say, Emma's got her autocorrect done already because Arsenal were playing Bracken this evening.
They might have scored against Bracken.
Just loads of weeds on the pitch, just like breakthrough.
I mean, Leslie Vuso would have hit the trunk, but still.
A bit like in Sleeping Beauty, right at the end, where Maleficent covers the castle and the thorns and everything. That's what I'm imagining. Very niche, but if you like Disney, there you go. But yeah, I cannot wait. So let's do a bit of breaking news then. So before all the games started today, it broke that Bunny Shaw will not be available to play for City this evening because City didn't apply for a visa for her to travel over to France. Danny,
hello.
How did that even happen? What was your reaction when you heard?
Sure. I was trying to read up a little bit before, and it seems like they went for, what was it called? They went for a different kind of visa, didn't they? I can't remember what the name of it was. Yeah,
they went for. I've got it up. They tried to expedite it, didn't they? Like a proper last minute.
Yeah, last minute one.
Visa application, yeah.
I think it's got something to do with the fact that the fixture was announced last Monday or confirmed last Monday, so they didn't have time to do it. That's my understanding of it. So yeah, but still, it's just a weird occurrence, isn't it? Especially with the player that's going to lead your hopes and dreams. Probably didn't need her by the looks of it, but still.
Well, yeah, good thing, yeah.
Still, you would think. Yeah, you'd think they'd have it in place. I think there must be some sort of official reason why they couldn't do it or couldn't get it done based on the turnaround of the fixture being announced, is what I'm gathering so far.
Yeah, it was just a strange one because some people have even started rumours that, she's resting for Sunday. And it's like, you don't put your Champions League dreams on hold to rest someone for a WSL game. Or that might just be me. Chloe, do you think there's any truth in that?
No, I don't think so.
No, not at all.
They put in the application yesterday, which is a bit silly if they knew it was last Monday when they knew the fixture. You would put it in then.
Yeah, I think it probably takes 15 days to go through, doesn't it, in usual? So it's just a bit weird that there's no kind of rules to allow it to happen.
You'd think there'd either be a bit more leniency or for the French embassy to go, all right, we only knew on that day. If the application went in on that day, something like that, maybe would have granted it. But yeah, no, it did not happen. As Danny rightly said, they didn't need her because Man City won 5-0 against Paris FC. Jess Park and Viv just absolutely smashing it. Danny, I know you were watching it. What was it like watching?
I wasn't watching it. I was following it through the BBC commentary. I was putting my kids to bed and following it. But yeah, it was just looking dominant. Jess Park, by the way, with so much attacking talent in that team, still forcing their way through and scoring the goals. It's so great to see. I mean, we'll come on to it later on with the Man City preview, but the fact that she's still scoring goals and getting involved and really pushing herself to the next level, I think that competition for her is really increasing and it's making her into an even better player. So good on her for that. It's great to see, and obviously so good to see Viv putting one in as well so early on in a competitive game. And Ty's done, basically, it looks like.
I know, yeah. So yeah, for anyone that's not too familiar, it was round 2, leg 1, and leg 2, I believe, will be. I mean, I could look instead of guessing. Leg 2 of 2 is going to be 25th of September, so next
week. Yeah.
Next week, yeah. So on the return, of course, Arsenal will try and use their home advantage to the best that they can, because, of course, as we mentioned earlier, they lost 1-0 to Hacken. But yeah, where's it gone? Yeah, Emma said they had some good chances. They did. They just couldn't find the back of the net.
If only they hadn't sold the best striker in the world.
Who's that then?
You know, if only they hadn't let go possibly one of the most complete forwards in the world, who scored for her new team in the Champions League this evening, you know.
She did. But, you know, that's not saying anything against Hacken, of course. We know they can be a very, very good competition. But, yeah, the difference, and Matthew's put it exactly what I was going to say. Thank you, Matthew. Difference between Arsenal and City is that Man City have a forward line that can take their chances and a sense of ruthlessness that Arsenal does not. Yeah, 100%. Completely. So they'll be looking to turn that around, will old Arsenal. Some other results for you in case people are interested. Roma started early. That was a 1/2, that one. They won 3-1 against Servette. I think that's how I pronounce it. Did look a bit shaky at one point. I think they went 1-0 down to Servette, and everyone kind of went, what? That shouldn't be happening. But they did come back to win 3-1. We've gone the other ones. Juventus hosted PSG and won 3-1, which is a brilliant result for Juventus. And ex-Everton player Hannah Benetton scored in that one as well. And Fiorentina, who have always been top 3-4 in Serie A, they hosted Wolfsburg and unfortunately lost 4-0. So if they do want to get through to the next round, they're going to have to do a lot of goal scoring for that one.
Can I shout out Hammarby as well? That's their first ever Champions League goal, I believe. Scored tonight. They lost 2-1 to Benfica, but that's their first ever goal in the Champions League. So that's scenes, as the kids say.
As the kids say these days.
We'll talk about what the kids say when we talk about Manchester United. Freya, get out your stopwatch, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So we did joke this evening we will have a stopwatch ready, so we don't go on too long, because we have a lot to talk about this evening, but just especially for Paul, because you know what he's like when he gets going. But we love it. We absolutely do. So what else have we got? Oh, yeah. Confirmation this week. Sophie Ingle has done her ACL. Not even in the season yet, and it's already happening. So yeah, our best wishes go out to Sophie, because again, horrible injury, no matter who or when it happens. But yeah, heartbreaking for her. That it was in a friendly against Feyenoord, I believe, for that one. Some more further sad news, and in fact, Chloe Bear, who was going to be on the podcast tonight, but she's working, unfortunately, she has sent a voice note through to describe her heartbreak at this, and it's, of course, the confirmation that Tony Duggan has confirmed her retirement as well. Now, when I was doing my transfer tracker earlier in the summer, I thought she'd said somewhere she's retiring, so I'd put on my transfer tracker that she'd retired. Then realised no one had said that at any point. So I had to quickly change it to free agent again. And yeah, then the news came out today. Chloe, what kind of a player was Tony Duggan, because if you've only really got into it the last maybe year or two, you might not realise what an impact she was in the game. So yeah, for those people who might not know, kind of what does she mean for women's football, and what kind of gap is she going to leave?
Yeah, she's been a sort of stalwart in the WSL, playing for quite a few teams in the WSL. I mean, as long as I can remember, really, and even sort of watching the Lionesses for years and years, she's always just been there and just been a key player. I think she sort of goes under the radar a little bit, and yeah, but she's been sort of one of those that just will just be sort of a workhorse of the team, and yeah, she's I would refer to her as one of the sort of OGs, one of the originals, really.
Yeah, she is.
I mean, 2015 World Cup. That's watching that and her playing alongside sort of Siobhan Chamberlain, Jodie Taylor, those sort of names that if you've watched the WSL for years, they'll be the first ones that you remember. But
yeah, proper legendary names. Yeah,
Tony Duggan's amongst them for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And she said she, would love to spend some time with her daughter, which is part of the reason why she's decided to do it now, because she was a bit torn. But yeah, if you look back at her playing history, of course, Everton legend, but of course, Barcelona, Real Madrid, like all of these teams, she's kind of been there, done it, hasn't she? So we wish Tony well in her retirement, because she's deserved every single moment of it, to just take it easy. Right. What else have we got? Oh, yeah, there was the moment where Barclays teased that something was coming. Was it yesterday or the day before? I think just yesterday. And everyone was excited, like, oh, they're going to change the rules. There's going to be 2 up, 2 down. Like, stakes are higher than ever. And it wasn't, was it? It was just an advert for the league. So everyone got really excited, and then it was just nothing. But apparently the message was, which I didn't get first watching it, that because the stakes are higher than ever, that's why they were all on a block of flats. And that's why they were on rooftops.
Yeah.
That was the solution.
I'm trying to work out where it is. I think it might be Manchester or somewhere around.
I mean, I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, that was apparently the message, which I had to read from someone else because I did not get it.
I'm still not sure I do, if I'm honest.
No, the stakes are higher, the game's bigger than ever.
Because they're high, is that right? Is that why?
Because they're high.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Because they're literally high.
I just think it was a cheap car park, and they just decided we'll try and like retcon some stuff to have only been able to hire a crap car park somewhere and have a kickabout.
And make it look cool. Yeah.
Like it's actually Man United's new training ground.
Enough bingo cards.
No, it's not. I haven't mentioned him yet. So that was...
I was going to say it's been nearly 14 minutes, and you haven't mentioned him. So to be fair, good going. That's pretty good for you.
Saving it all up.
I can't wait. Yeah, everyone get ready, because you can't wait. And the last thing I think I want to talk about as our latest news, Maria Perez, the 22-year-old World Cup winner, has moved from Barcelona to London City. Paul, you've got 30 seconds. Go. What did you make of this one?
Maria Perez, what made you decide to move from Barcelona to the billionaire-owned, ridiculously rich London City Lionesses? It's that crusty gift, isn't it? They backed a dump truck of money up to her house, and she decided that she'd rather take the money rather than, play for one of the biggest teams in Europe, in the hope that it would move forward. Sorry, Kevin's sat here just like it moved her. The pitch moved her to a bigger house. Sorry.
And time's up. Thank you very much. So that's what we think of that. Yeah, it was definitely an interesting one to say the least. I mean, you could say it's experience of another league, but from Barcelona to, it's just a bit of a jump, really. But hey, if she's going to enjoy the year, then best of luck to you.
Do you reckon they'll unveil her like they unveiled Sophia Jacobson? Like we were joking about how they were talking about officially unveiling Sophia Jacobson, and we just had this idea of Sophia Jacobson standing in a field in Bromley with a blanket over her while some intern gets ready to pull it off. She's there like, I've got 157 caps for Sweden and I'm stood in a field in Kent. Like,
this is where my life has brought me.
This is where life has brought me.
The lure of Bromley.
I mean, I've been to Bromley, so I don't know what it is. I'm glad you can see it, Graham, because obviously you're from South London, Kent, so you might be able to see it. But having been there a few times,
it's again, each to their own. It's when it comes to football and the best decision, each to their own.
I just hope they don't go up now. It'll be very, very funny.
It would be funny.
Well, we're going to look at the results, and unfortunately, they did go London City's way this weekend. So, bum, bum, bum. This is what match day 2 look like. We won't talk about Sunderland. That's fine. We won't talk about it until last anyway. So, first up, Chloe, we're going to come to you. Portsmouth 0, Durham 3. Now, this one, I mean, it's great for Durham. They've found their scoring boots. Perfect start to the season. But yeah, Portsmouth looked like they struggled quite a bit, didn't they? So what did you make of this one for us, Chloe?
Yeah, Portsmouth definitely struggled. I mean, being sort of newly promoted, it's going to take a little while to settle in and find sort of what the level is. And yeah, they had a tough test against a Durham team that had been in the league for I don't know how long, quite a few years. I remember Durham playing against Chelsea in 2017, I think, or probably later than that. They have been around for a while, and they know, what's going on, how to play. But yeah, I mean, they did okay. It's tough test. They've got some pretty good players that have noted down, like some players from WSL, young players like Eva Netz, Grace McEwen, and Lydia Dent, as well as players like Reva Cassie, who used to play at Oxford United years ago. This is going back sort of WSL2 times. And Sophie Barker used to play for Sheffield United. So they've got some decent players, but yeah, it's going to be a tough season ahead. I think their aim is probably to stay at least in the league this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Durham have been very mid-table for a long time, really, haven't they? And we were worried about them towards the back end of last season. So the fact that they've had these 2 wins to start off with looks like maybe their look could be changing. But yeah, I think Portsmouth, it's been a tough adjustment because on paper, they've done well, haven't they, to prepare for the championship. So I think it might just be a case of finding your feet, give it a couple of weeks, give it till Christmas. Don't judge anything by now. That's what I'm telling myself as a Sunderland fan anyway. And just see where the season takes you, and can they stay up ultimately? Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Before we move on, can I just officially name an official Thunder Bastard from Hannah Blake for the first goal in this one?
I was going to say about goals, before we move on. Yeah,
it was outside the area, top corner, ball came back out of the net. Thunder Bastard, official.
A Danny Brothers approved Thunder Bastard. There you go. Yeah. # Thunder Bastard.
Stamped.
You need one of those. Like we need a graphic just
or a gavel. Yeah.
We name this goal Thunder Bastard. Like.
I need some sound effects, don't I? I'll have to add them in when we get them
next week.
Yeah, for next week. Yeah, but the fact that just looking a bit more at the goals, the first one for Durham was so quick the camera missed it. So all you got was like the ripple back for the effect. Couldn't even see it on the replay. There was a beautiful flick on for the second. And then the third one, Heppel took a corner and went straight in. It was beautiful. So yeah, Durham's skill is just... Yeah, I don't know what's happened this season, but they look like a completely new team. So I'm very, very impressed. So
is it an Olympico when a corner goes in? Goes
I
straight in.
believe so. Yes.
Think
We've got all these weird names for things now.
Olympic.
Not good British names like Thunder Bastard, all these foreign words.
I was going to say Graham said we need a Thunder Bastard klaxon. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, proper klaxon. Yeah, that'll do. We'll do that. One.
Can we just have Danny yelling it?
Yeah.
Like, as a klaxon,
Yeah.
just Danny going, Thunder Bastard! Really well done.
That could be
We'll
the
flip
sound
it
effect
up.
we press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big red button, and when we press it, it says it. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, Sean's had a good idea. Thunder Bastard of the season. Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We can have
Yeah.
one of the week
Well-
and then just pile them up at the end of the season, see which one's best.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
put the
amazing.
montage.
I want to do that. We put a compilation of all the goals, right?
Yeah.
And just at the end of it, in the font, just Thunder Bastard instead of Thunderbirds. Imagine.
Thunder Bastards are go.
Yeah.
Thunder Bastard. Yes.
Yes.
That's the one. That is the klaxon. Just a countdown.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to go through each week, and you've got the countdown, and they're just Thunder Bastards are go.
Yes, right. Sam, if you're still watching, that's what we're doing. We need to start it now, and it's gonna be wonderful when we do. When we do get it. Oh, I love it. Yes, can't wait. But let's go back to this week rather than the end of the season. Paul, we're going to come to you next for Sheffield 0, Charlton 1. And as Graham, I think you said earlier, no home wins at all this week. So it was all the luck of the away teams. But for this one, Charlton have been incredibly strong. And of course, we'll talk about Ellie Brazil. But were you surprised it was only 1-0?
Yes. I think we all had considered that this one was going to be a fairly comfortable Charlton win. I nearly said a Sheffield United win. I'm like 3 seasons old. But yeah, we considered it was going to be a fairly comfortable Charlton win. Sheffield United's logic appears to be that classic. We know we're possibly not really good enough for this division, so we're just going to scrap out wins and shithouse 1-0s or draws or work through it. And Charlton, I don't want to say Charlton struggled, because you never felt that they were in trouble. But also, Charlton played down to Sheffield United's level, and I think that is what Sheffield United are going to try and do all season. They're like, it sounds harsh, but they're going to try and drag teams down to their level. You know, like you hear it talked about in the FA Cup all the time. You know, when the BBC has Manchester United versus insert small provincial town here on an absolute bomb site of a pitch on a Sunday night, and all the talk is, oh, they can't let them play. They can't let them play. You know, and then they put them off their game and all that sort of stuff. Sheffield United kind of did that.
They were definitely frustrating them, weren't they?
Yeah, it was very much a let's just shut down Charlton and frustrate them. And Graham says, I think Charlton had the gear to go up if they needed it. I don't think that would have helped against what they were playing against, because Sheffield United just would have, they would have played the whole spoiler thing of getting feet into tackles, blocking off crosses, blocking off passes, just deflecting stuff away rather than actually, disrupting. But that woman again, Ellie Brazil, she is going to win so many games for Charlton this season, because the way she finishes, like we keep saying, we picked her out in the preview. If they do go up, she is going to be key, and she did it again. Like, also Carla Humphrey's pass, by the way, I love an assist.
Yeah,
I want my quote that I was most likely to say and haven't said in a while was "sod the goal. Did you see the assist?" And there you go, first time this season.
right.
But Ellie Brazil's movement, though, she's frightening. Like,
Scarily quick. Yeah.
absolutely electric, and just
Mhm.
there aren't many players in the Championship who could have got onto that pass. There aren't many players in the Championship who Carla Humphrey probably would have had the confidence to play that pass through to. And the fact that Ellie Brazil's there, and then we saw it, and Charlton are 2 wins in 2 without conceding a goal. So they're starting very, very well indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And goal difference already, again, at the bottom of the table, with the team that we won't mention. It looks terrible already. And you think, oh, there needs to be a lot going on to do some damage control here. Absolutely. But yeah, Ellie Brazil, if you don't know her name, you certainly should. And you certainly will by the end of the season. She's been phenomenal. Now, moving on, Danny, I'm going to come to you next. Blackburn Rovers 1, London City Lionesses 2. Now, for this one, of course, it was Blackburn's Matchday 1 because they didn't play last weekend. Do you think that put them at a slight disadvantage because they hadn't had a week to get themselves sorted? Or would it not have mattered with how London City played? Kind of what did you make of this one?
Yeah, I don't think it would have had too much difference the way the game panned out. London City pretty much controlled possession for most of the game, as you'd expect. Went 2-0 up. Lucy Fitzgerald came in into the team for this one. She made it 1-0, and then she was involved in getting the second. She kind of set up the free kick for Aslani to fire in. Alex Brooks pushed it away and made a really good save, actually. You always feel for a goalkeeper when you make a great save and then they score anyway from the rebound. So Chantal Boyd-Lorca put the rebound in. It looked like it was going to be one of them sort of hammer-ins after that. But Blackburn did well to stay in the game. I give them that. I did predict that London City might run away with this because of Blackburn's pre-season, the transfer window. But actually, they stuck away. They worked hard. They reduced London City to minimum chances in the second half as well. I think that's partly down to London City just being happy with the 2-0 win. It didn't really go for the jugular as such. Aslani then missed the penalty, which is a bit of a shock.
I wasn't expecting that.
London City website said Blackburn was somewhat fortunate to see the 48th minute penalty drift wide of the post, which was an interesting way of putting it. The opposition were fortunate that she missed. Well, more that your star signing missed the penalty. But Blackburn got back into it. I mean, I've got to shout out Farrah Crompton as well. Came back from an ATL injury. This is her first competitive appearance for over a year. So to come back into it and score was great for her. So shout out to her. I think London City were just always going to have that next gear on. I feel like if they needed to, they could have kicked on and won it again. But Blackburn were a lot more competitive than I thought they would be. So good news for them in that respect. It was just London City was a very controlled performance, I think, and potentially could have a few more gears to kick into.
Yeah. So despite everything, positive start for Blackburn?
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll be fairly happy with their performance. They'll want a little bit more possession in the coming games, but they'll obviously have easier games this season. So it might not be as big a disaster as we might have predicted. It's probably take a few weeks to figure out where they'll sit in the table, though, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we were, like you said, we were worried, weren't we? Because of everything that has gone on. And it felt like maybe not just in the team, but with the club as well. It just seemed very kind of unsettled. So yeah, again, even if they could just settle themselves and just stay up for another season and give themselves that chance.
Yeah,
really.
I feel like this team as well, having lost a bit much the spine of the team, this team needs one result to go their way just to kick on and get that confidence. If they don't get that first win for 3 or 4 weeks, then it's going to start looking really grim for them, I think. But if they get that first win under their belt, then the confidence will hopefully grow for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at the minute it looks like it's going to be a fight at the bottom that I don't like. So what we'll do, Paul will come to you next for Sunderland, and then Danny will come back to you for Bristol. Saves you talking lots. So this one, Paul, I'll just say a few words and I'll let you do your review. I was at the Notts Forest game on Sunday, and I was getting the notifications through, and I was like, "Oh, 0-0 half time. That's good," because there were 2 or 3-0 down at half time the week before Sunderland. It's like, "Oh, 0-0. That's great." Then it got to about the 72nd minute, and it all went wrong. So, Paul, what did you take from this one? Because when I watched it back in the highlights, Sunderland actually had they had chances. It wasn't that it was 3-0 demolition job. For the majority of it, they could have come back, couldn't they? So tell us about.
I mean, I think to some degree you can claim Sunderland were a little bit unlucky because 2 of the goals were worldies, like carbon copy worldies. Not Thunder Bastards, unfortunately. They don't count the Thunder Bastards because they weren't hit hard enough. They were kind of floaty lobs. Like, can anyone else say what was that? What was that advert that's their floaty light? Because that was it.
That was Quavers.
That was Quavers. They were Quavers. They were floaty lobs. Like they just kind of. I'm just looking at Chloe. Chloe's just got her head in her hands, like, oh Christ.
Why am I on the podcast?
Floaty lob of the season award coming.
She's there like, I've actually written for big outlets and I'm sat with some twat in eyeshadow talking about floaty lobs now. Like, she's the Sophia Jacobs of the podcast. She's like, what am I doing here? Like, but anyway.
I'll take it.
But like, it was. They just look like the kind of thing you hit in the park. Like the ball kind of came out to Rihanna Dean, and Southampton's social media, which is prone to hyperbole at the best of times, given some of the stuff they said about some of the goals last season, talked about it as, you know, an amazing strike and a candidate for goal of the season. It's like she just swung a leg at it. You know, it was a Sunday League bloody 30-yarder hit and hope that ends up on Sunday League banter stuff all the time, and everyone goes, where the guy looks really surprised to have scored. Like, it looked like one of those. And obviously I'm not saying Rihanna Dean didn't mean it, because that would be cruel to a professional striker, and as we know, no professional striker has ever hit and hope a shot and then claim they meant it when they scored. But like with Sunderland, like they weren't that bad most of the time. They just got beaten by Demi Lambourne being out by a penalty area and someone having a hit and hope.
That was my issue. If you get done once, get yourself back in your box. Twice she was lobbed within minutes.
Like, but then again, Mary Earps got lobbed loads of times, and she was supposedly the best goalie in the world. So,
that's true. Yeah, and PSG lost today as well. So it hasn't been the best start to PSG life for her. But yeah, anyway.
I mean, at least she got to play the Champions League second round again, like she did with Manchester United last season. So, you know, that big move to get further in the Champions League. You better hope they win in Italy, Mary. That's all I'm saying. Or you're going to look very silly. But I'm really going for people. Sorry. I'm in a full-on claws out.
Hey, I want to apologise.
This is just
That's why everyone's watching. That's it. It's not for us. It's for you.
I've still got to talk about Arsenal and talk about North London forever. That'll be interesting, given my description of them last season. But returning to that, Southampton won 3-0, but it wasn't a 3-0.
It was a very flattering scoreline, wasn't it?
It was a 1-0 with 2 worldies. With 2 like fleeky. Depending on who you ask, they're either worldies or they're flukes. But either way, they're not the kind of things that are going to keep going. And we love a floaty lob as well.
I
think that should be on a t-shirt. I'm more interested in floaty lobs than Thunder Bastards.
Just
floaty lobs and Thunder Bastards.
Floaty lobs, the hipster's choice. So we have floaty lobs, we have Thunder Bastards, we have tap-ins. We'll just have categories for every type of goal by the end of this.
That's the goal.
But either way, Sunderland are barely staying afloat at the moment.
Okay.
And I think now there will be words that the time for politeness has gone now. The time for kind of, oh, we're fine and we'll fix it next week has gone now. Now there needs to be the kind of rhetoric of, yeah, this is unacceptable, we need to fix it. And to be fair, with Mulvey and Steph Libby, I think you'll get that. And I think, they're very straight. They're very straight shooters. Unlike Rihanna Dean, who hits and hopes. And we will see, I think. But Sunderland cannot go 3 on the bounce. They need to get something this weekend. A point. Get a point on the board. Not even a win.
Fun fact, they're not playing this weekend. So my next question to you was, has this come at a good time to rest, reset, and then go again? Because guess who they've got the week after? London City.
Can we just mention, by the way, London City social media, sort yourselves the hell out and do it properly. Because using first names in match updates, no, you're not. You're not a fan blog. You're an official team thing. You can do the whole. I think they came up with Lucy Fitzgerald striker era. Like, behave. Just.
Well, if we're going to get told off for saying Liz,
yeah,
for Liz Ferland, then everyone's got to have the same standards.
I mean, it was like Cossa has a strike. Who? And then then you realise obviously they're talking about Aslani, and that is probably actually her nickname. But apparently the London City social media people is a bit of a Cossa if he's going to keep writing stuff like that, or she. But just stop trying to appeal to the kids, because as the kids say, it is cringe, no cap.
Oh wow! Okay. Were you in that video earlier?
I'm just. This is the thing now. This is the trend, apparently. This is on trend. Like I'm just going out there to slay Queen. That's what's going on.
Oh god. While we're on this, is there one in Curry's PC World, because that was the best one.
There's one in Curry's.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's a proper thing. There was one around Tom Allen, if anyone follows him on Instagram. He did one around his garden. That was great. And yeah, the Curry's PC World one is quite good. I quite like it. So it is a thing. We will be talking about the Man United one, which is why we keep laughing, for anyone who's wondering in the chat. We will come back to this topic.
But yes, but there we are. Sunderland need a point, and the rest has probably come at the perfect time. And arguably against London City, where they will possibly not be expected to get anything.
Yeah.
It's probably the best game for them, because it's a low pressure game in the eyes of many.
Yeah.
There's no expectation of them.
Because if we look at the goal difference at the minute, yeesh. Sunderland are on 11th with a -8 goal difference. Portsmouth just above them on -6. So yeah, it's.
If it's any consolation, at this point when Coventry United got relegated, they were on -9. So
okay, there's hope.
There's hope. United did get relegated with 7 points at the end of the season, but there is, there's a little bit.
I would just like to say thank you to Graham. He's commented, because I tweeted a running order for tonight, and he said, updated running order, latest news including Champions League results, Women's Championship results, WSL preview, Paul rants, Freya apologises for running late.
I'm going to go and retweet that. I'll go, fairly close.
It is, in fact. Yes, retweet that. Thank you, Graham. Now, Danny, we will come to you for the final one, which is Bristol City 0, Birmingham 0. Now, I was surprised more than anything that this ended goalless, but it
Yeah.
was definitely a game for the keepers and the last-ditch defending, wasn't it? So what did you make of this one, Danny?
It was, like, despite it being 0-0, this was a really good game, I thought. Both teams will probably be looking to be up there by the end of the season. Bristol is still going through a little bit of a transition with Lauren Dyksler in temporary charge. They got a draw on the opening day. Birmingham obviously beat Sunderland. So both of them coming in with points. I felt like it was a really interesting tactical game, this one. Both of them sussing each other out for the most part for the opening minutes, but both of them playing some really good football. I think they can both be pretty pleased with how they played. I thought Tegan McGowan had a really good game. She almost scored in the first half. We had a Jamie Lee Napier volley for Bristol, which would have been a Thunder Bastard if it went in, but denied Thunder
You just
Bastard.
nearly called that a Thundy B.
I did. I nearly called it a Thunder B.
Sure.
I'm glad you picked up on that.
There you go. There's a reaction picture for you.
Clipping it
So
up.
yeah. The last ditch defender you were talking about, the block from Rebecca McKenna on Testrup
That was
to stop the goal. That was a incredible clearance, incredible block. McGowan again had a chance in the second half, cutting inside, forcing Bentley into the save. But overall, pretty much both sides cancel each other out in this one. I think Birmingham looks slightly ahead in the overall play, look a little bit more confident in what they're doing going forward. Bristol, I think, will get there. I think they've got a good raw team. It hasn't really seemed to affect them going down. They seem to know what they're doing. But I just think Birmingham are on that little bit of a higher level, not massively, but enough in this division where you need to be on it week in, week out. I think they're just about edging the two of them, and I expect both of them to be round and about. I really like Amy Merrick's. I like her outlook after the game. She was saying that she was frustrated and she was disappointed. I thought she was kind of a lot more kind of harsh, not harsh, but kind of, looking at it as a disappointment than I thought she would be. She said Bristol made it tough, but they had to keep playing their game. Sounding pretty downbeat that it was only a point coming to Bristol City and getting a point, which I think is a good outlook to have. If you're one of the top teams, you've got to be up there and be perfect for the whole season, which they would have learned from last season. Yeah. I think that kind of outlook from her is going to stand them in good stead, and you can tell what kind of mentality she's trying to instill into her players, because they're just going to be going for it week in, week out, and anything other than 3 points every week is going to be a disappointment to her, and it's going to take a particular type of player to respond to that, but it looks like they've got them, and I fully expect Birmingham to be pushing on. Really, really good performance from them, and I think it was a good point, but I think Bristol probably did in the end as well. But enjoyable. Yeah. Really enjoyable game.
Yeah, it was really good, and like you said, it got to a point where you were like, okay, if you're gonna try and win it, just please don't lose it, because it was so tight until right to the end, wasn't it? But like you said with Amy Merrick, she has been very open and honest about, they're there to win, they're there to keep striving for every, like you said, 3 points every game, and the fact that she's been so open about being disappointed at a point is really good, because then that then reflects on what she's trying to do and her kind of plan for the league and beyond. So she's been a great appointment for Birmingham with that one. Graham's asked the very important question: Thundy B or Floaty L?
Thundy B. Me
has to be a Thundy B, hasn't it?
It has to be Thundy B.
Floaty L just sounds like a crap breakfast cereal. So it's got to be Thundy B, hasn't it?
Like Floaty-O's or something like that. Now we're going to come back to this.
Someone in Yorkshire would say, "Is it like, oh, Floaty L?" It's a bad Yorkshire accent. Apologies to Yorkshire listeners / viewers.
Brilliant. Floaty L. Let's try and do a serious question there, Dan. Now, the final thing before we move on to our WSL preview, we've got some fixtures for the weekend, and I'd like some predictions, please. So we'll just do this nice and quick and see what we think. So first up, we've got Charlton Durham. Chloe, what do you think for this one? Who's going to win, draw, lose? What do you think?
Oh, that's a tough one, because obviously both teams are at the top at the moment. So I think Durham might edge it.
Oh, we're going to go for Durham. Right, okay, hang on. Let's get me list. Chloe, Paul, Danny, me. Okay, so Chloe's going for Durham. Paul, what do you think?
Charlton 3-3. And
Lovely. Danny?
Only by 1 goal.
Only by a goal. Ooh.
Only
Okay.
by a goal, but Charlton.
1-0. Okay. Yep.
Charlton, yeah, for me. So.
Charlton. Yeah, I've got to put Charlton. Charlton at home, I think they're going to be really incredibly strong. Okay, next up, Birmingham, Portsmouth. Birmingham, Portsmouth. Chloe.
Birmingham.
Birmingham. Paul.
Brum.
Birmingham. Yep. Danny.
Yep, Birmingham for me as well.
Yeah, it's got to be a clean sweep for the Blues. There we go. Okay, next up, London City, Bristol. Chloe, what are you thinking?
I think Bristol City.
Oh. Okay. Paul, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna agree with Chloe. I'm not convinced by London City yet. I think Bristol.
Okay, Bristol give a good performance. Yeah. Danny, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking draw for that one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with the draw. I think Bristol again are going to frustrate London. Okay, next up, Newcastle, Sheffield United. Newcastle, Sheffield United. Chloe, what are you thinking?
I think that might be a draw.
Going to draw. Okay. Paul, what are you thinking?
I think Sheffield United will frustrate Newcastle again.
Okay.
And I think that I can see Sheffield United nicking it for some reason because it feels a bit after the Lord Mayor showy, if that makes sense. Because you had the big Newcastle versus London City in the big first game, and everyone travels down there, and now they're having the big first home game in the Championship, big events and everything. And Sheffield United are just the kind of team to spoil stuff like that.
That's a good point.
They exist to spoil stuff like that this season. So
okay, so
it
you're
wouldn't
going
surprise
for
me if they nick it.
Okay, no, I like it. Danny, what are you thinking?
I've got to go Newcastle win for this. I think first time game.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I can't bring myself to say that, so I'm going to say draw. And last up, we've got Southampton, Blackburn. Southampton, Blackburn. Chloe.
I'm going to go Southampton.
Southampton. Lovely. Paul, what are you thinking?
Southampton.
South. Danny?
Yeah, I can't see anything other than Southampton for this one.
Yeah, it's got to be another clean sweep. Perfect. Right. I'll get those loaded up and I'll get those out for the weekend. Perfect. Thank you very much. Right then. Are we ready for our WSL preview? Dun,
Yes.
dun, dun. It's back. It feels like forever since, because obviously we've been treated to the championship for the past 2 weeks. And of course, our love will still remain for the championship. But the WSL is back. So what we've done for this one, we've divided the teams. We're going to take 3 each. And we are going to talk anything that's been important through the summer break. So any transfer window shocks or brilliance, new managers, and again, what our thoughts are going to be for the new season. Now, we've got to 49 minutes.
Paul may be about to jump for joy in a minute. But...
Now, Paul's going to go first because we're going to go alphabetically, and we're going to start with Arsenal. So,
we are going to start with Arsenal, but we're going to pause because I said I'd do it. Fucking get in! Sky Blues have scored.
hey.
Coventry City 1, Tottenham 0.
Oh, very good.
Cracking finish as well. It was Haji Wright, who is America's greatest export since McDonald's. It was Brandon Thomas Asante, who is not America's greatest export since McDonald's. but I'm going to use that line anyway. I mean, my backup line was America's greatest export since starting foreign wars. So, that was an awkward one. So
I mean,
stuck
it's a
with McDonald's.
shift. It's a choice to go between McDonald's and Star Wars. Thanks very much.
Brandon Thomas Santos from Milton Keynes, apparently. So that's not good.
Well, something good has come out of Milton Keynes then.
Yeah.
There you go. Speaking of Milton Keynes, isn't Arsenal's captain from Milton Keynes, Leah Williamson?
She is.
Yes,
The
she
love
is.
of the roundabouts.
Yep.
Yes. Yes, she is indeed.
Seamless link. You see, it's almost like I've done this before.
Look at that.
It's like you practiced it. Well done. Yeah, so Arsenal, of course, losing Miedemar, which massive blow for them. Had quite a sparse window compared to Chelsea, who seem to buy everyone. But Chloe, you'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, Paul, how do you think their window's been? Anything we should be looking forward to, or what do you think Arsenal are going to do this season? What are your thoughts?
Well, Arsenal are like the American election because all the talk appears to be of left and right wingers. Like they're just dominated by wingers everywhere.
I thought you were going to say cats and dogs for a minute.
And they've well, they appear to be eating up any chances of getting through the Champions League. But I had to work hard with that one. I was like, Daddy set that one up, so unlike Arsenal, I'd better finish it properly. But the thing with Arsenal this season is Jonas Eidevall has to win something that isn't the League Cup. And he's clearly decided that the best way to do that is play Daphne van Domselaar, Leah Williamson, 4 wingers either side and a striker. Because, like, Rosa Kafaji plays as a winger. It's... And that was the big signing that everyone talked about. We've talked about Daphne van Domselaar, and I am not convinced Villa didn't get the better end of that deal. Because...
I've said it before.
Because... there is a tendency in the red half of North London to overrate players who wear Arsenal shirts. And players who would have been rubbish previously are suddenly the best players on the planet when they come to Arsenal. Apart from Manuela Zinsberger, who, by the way, they just gave a new contract as a number 1 goalie, even though Arsenal don't have a number 1 goalie. Apparently, even though they do. But
I forgot about that.
Yeah, but it's the thing that I don't get about Arsenal is there's no strategy. Jonas Eidevall appears to be I'll just kind of throw people roughly in there and play a bunch of number 9s as wingers and a bunch of wingers as number 9s and sign a 10-goal striker and expect to win the league. And it's that was a Russo dig, everybody.
But you never do that. Why would you do that now?
And just Arsenal are like a party pre-election. They promise everything, and then the moment they have the chance to do anything, they don't. Or there's always a reason why they can't do it. There's always an excuse why they can't do it. It'll be injuries, or it'll be, other teams were slightly better. And there's too many questions about them for me. And there's too many players competing for 3 positions.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? Because Arsenal
it's not for me. I think it's fucking hilarious, but
okay, it's frustrating from the outside because you see that potential, don't you? And you look at that team and you think, why aren't you winning more? Why aren't you consistently in those top 2 spots? what's going on. Like you said, it's their style. Did I have one? The formation, like it's the choices, and Jonas has been questioned for a while now. But again, he got a new contract as well. So there's clearly the belief there in the club. But if we look specifically at their window, bringing in, so they brought in Caldente, talk briefly about Van Domselaar. They've got in Sophie Harwood from Southampton, who I believe is going to play with their under-21s team. And of course, Kafaji, who you mentioned as well. They've sent their youngsters on loan, Tia Goldie, Maddie Earl, and Michelle Adjiman, and have lost a lot of key players. So do you think maybe Caldente coming in was maybe a statement signing to try and get rid of the Viv pin and try and heal it, to be like, look, we can attract the stars. Look, we can.
Caldente is an incredible player, but Arsenal don't need her. She is not.
That discussion, yeah.
She's the answer to a question nobody asked. That's the thing. Like,
she's never.
She wasn't. Arsenal are answering questions nobody's asking of them, and they're not answering the questions of that they actually need. Like, where are all these players going to fit? If you lose to Hacken, you're going to have this whole squad bought for the Champions League that isn't actually a Champions League team. And they still haven't quite decided where Russo is going to play, because they put her as a number 9, even though Eidevall himself has said she plays more of a number 10. So they're almost playing strikerless with 2 wingers, and just hoping that Beth Mead could score another 15 goals. And I think they're out. I think they're out of the top 3 this season.
Okay.
I genuinely think that Arsenal are going backwards under Eidevall at this point. Miedemar may have seen that and gone, sod this, I'm off.
Yeah, let us get out now while I can, yeah.
We will. I wonder if we talk about the person who we shan't mention yet, because I'm still trying to reach my record and go as far past it as possible. And the way that players don't want to play for him, I wonder if Eidevall is one of those Marmite managers. The players who he's brought in want to play for him. Stina Blackstenius wants to play for him because fellow Swede, all that sort of thing. Caldente will want to play for him. Some of the others, I don't know. I wonder if Beth Mead might, particularly if Arsenal start slowly, be looking at Viv up in Manchester. Viv might be in her ear going, there's in January it's open. Your contract ends. Is it next year her contract ends, Beth Mead, or has she signed a new long one?
I'm not sure. Let me check. Well, yeah, if the opportunity's there.
But they're fixing problems they didn't need to fix. They haven't addressed the problems that they have. And other teams have improved far more. Other teams who are pushing at them have improved far more. And I think that this will be the season Eidevall is potentially exposed. I don't know whether he'll be sacked.
Interesting. Okay.
But he's already a manager who is under pressure. He divides the Arsenal fan base.
Very
from
much
what
so.
I can tell, and there will be people. If he doesn't start brilliantly, if Man City hammer them on the opening day of the season, they'll panic. The best thing Man City can do is stick 3 or 4 past them, because that will really potentially derail Arsenal's whole season.
Yeah, because we've seen it come down to points. We've seen it come down to goal difference. That last day of the season, last season. It was. We were goal watching, weren't we? See who could actually take the points. I'm watching the chat as well. Thank you to everybody who's having a go. Because it is, is it the manager problem, which a lot of people are saying it is? Is it that the team, again, you've got too many people in certain positions that they haven't found out which way is their best way forward yet? Because they should, because of who they are, be able to get past the second round of the Champions League. And a lot of people saying, well, maybe again they won't finish top 3, and the problems maybe run deeper than that. The only thing I find on Beth Mead, she signed a new deal in 2022 and it just said multi-year.
Yeah, so that'll be 3 or 4. Probably.
Round about now, yeah. So maybe, yeah. And if she does, I think that'll be a massive one, a massive clue as to what could possibly be going on. Yeah, absolutely.
If the rumours start to come out, like you say, if the rumours start to come out like they did with Mary O, so Beth Mead may be, there may be interest in Beth Mead leaving Arsenal. That's when we know. Although conspiracy theory stuff like that won't come out because Arsenal are the pet club of 90% of women's football media, and stuff like that is negative.
And we can't say anything negative. But what the last thing I did want to discuss with you, the whole Kira Walsh scenario. Apparently, it was rumoured that Arsenal set out a world record bid of around £930,000 in order to release Kira a year early. But Barcelona have essentially said, no, not a chance. She's an integral part of our squad. We're not letting her go. Paul, what do you think from a business point of view? One, do Arsenal need her, or is it again another statement piece? But from Barcelona, you're losing out on €1 million there.
Yeah, but you're also losing out at probably the best midfielder in the world.
And there's also that, yeah.
So, and I don't get why Kira Walsh would go to Arsenal. Genuinely, if you're Kira Walsh, would you rather go to Arsenal where you up against, they've got Leah Velti in that position anyway, but also Kira Walsh is going to get blamed if they sign Kira Walsh and they don't win everything. She'll get blamed. If Kira Walsh comes back and goes back to Man City, or she goes to Chelsea, then she has probably more chance of winning stuff in Europe, realistically. And she said,
didn't she, that she wanted to come back for personal reasons. So if she is to come back to the WSL next summer on a free, which most people have predicted she is, so would you say more City or Chelsea is more likely than Arsenal?
I would, but also now Couture with their comment that their second name's criminal, and a year ago they would have said, "Is Kira Walsh world class?" is a question that you wouldn't even need to ask. But
yeah,
where does she fit at Man City or Chelsea even?
She doesn't really, does she?
Because Man City have got the likes of Lola Blinkilda Brown, they've got Yui Hasegawa, Rolls Royce. Get the cliche in there. Chelsea, even though she suffered an ACL injury, have got Sophie Ingle. They've got Shurka Nuskin, who can play just about anywhere. They've signed Vika Kaptein now. It's Kaptein, everybody. Can we, commentators mainly? Not captain.
I thought it was captain.
Kaptein, apparently. According to her herself, in one of the best player pronunciation videos I've ever seen, mainly for Erin Cuthbert's sense of humour, right? But with all the rest of it as well, and Jesus, Sky Blues have just come within an inch of making it 2-0. Yeah, sorry, I'm suffering here, but not as much as Arsenal fans will be next season. That's it. I don't, I've already ranted for about 10 minutes, so we'll stop and talk about the other 11 teams because I've still got 2 more to talk about. But yeah, I think Arsenal have had, I think they're overhyped. and I think they have a legit chance of being the team who fall out of the top three. If a team is going to fall out of the top three, I think it's going to be Arsenal.
Okay. Yeah. It's going to be hard because every single team, as we're going to talk about, has strengthened. So yeah, it's can they prove that they should be up there? And if not, then hopefully the questions are asked. Yeah, absolutely. Right, we're going to talk about Villa next. And I've got good news. It's great. Villa have spent money, right? And we've actually got players. It's great. To the point where Sophie, who usually joins us, I think she did a bit of a calculation, and I think there's like 25 out of a squad of 26. That's like the biggest squad Villa's ever had. If we can all just take a moment and appreciate that business. But of course, the star signing that most people will have thought about is, of course, getting Gabby Nunes on the last day of the transfer window. I don't know where that pot of money's been hiding. Like Emma said, don't know where the investments come from and why we didn't get it previously. But it feels like Villa as a club have really stepped up and they've gone, right, okay, there is a future in the women's game. We need to show our support, our longevity, our investment, like we need to put everything in it and be very open about that. So the fact that we've brought in players who maybe aren't household names unless you're more into European football, but if you look at people like, get me list up, Missy Borkerns, of course, no one expected that one. Chastity Grant from Ajax signed Miri Taylor on a permanent transfer. Paula Tomas as well came from Levante, fantastic in pre-season. She's been Katie Robinson, who people who have watched quite a long time. When she first was announced, everyone went, "Oh, okay." Did we need her? Yes, the answer is yes. She's, again, in pre-season, she's been brilliant. And Sabs D'Angelo, of course, from Arsenal. I know, Paul, you said about Villa getting the better end of the deal. I think so, because Daphne, for us, never really settled. You could tell it was a stepping stone club, and she was very honest and open about that. But again, Sabs has shown... there she is. Hi, Sophie. She's listening in the car. And Sabs has come with us and she's so lovely. If anyone's ever kind of been in and about, she's just the personality that's really going to fit a Villa. And she's going to wear the number 1 shirt, which we've got 3 incredibly good goalkeepers. So I hope we do see a bit more rotation. But yeah, honestly, it's been a brilliant market for Villa. Very, very impressed. And I went to 1 pre-season, and apart from the 2 goals that they're letting against Charlton that were a bit dodgy, the rest of it we've looked really, really strong. Again, agree with Emma. Tomas looks amazing, a bit like Miri Taylor. So really strong, not afraid to put a tackle in. Proper like old school football is great. So I really think people are going to be impressed watching this season. Matthew's just put, who would I start in goal? Honestly, I'd be happy with either. Both are a cracking pair of hands. Feel really solid, both of them. We haven't seen Annalise in pre-season, so we don't know if she's got a knock or something, but we haven't had any communication. So I reckon Sabs is going to go and goal straight away. But we can't count out Sophia Poor either. Again, fantastic young goalkeeper. And yeah, just really looking forward to seeing what he does, because he's tried out a couple of different formations in pre-season, so we're not quite sure what the starting 11 is going to be. We think we've got about 8 down from who he started. But yeah, the fact that it's up for grabs and the fact that there's depth is insane. Because, of course, lost Alicia Lehmann. Many certain fans were upset about that one. But she's having a cracker time at Juventus. So it's, again, the best of both worlds. We were a bit gutted to lose Simone McGill to Birmingham City, but she never really got going for Villa. So I'm glad she stayed in the Midlands. Glad she's got a team that are going to play her. And, of course, Liv McLaughlin as well went on a permanent deal to Rangers. But, again, she was getting Champions League football that Villa couldn't offer her. So overall, yes, we've lost some decent names, decent players, but if anything, we've equaled or strengthened what we had, and that's the exciting part. And like Sophie said, we've gotten a lot of young players rather than the older / retired international players that Villa was known for many, many years. So yeah, Villa is looking incredibly, incredibly positive. So The Guardian, last thing I'll say before I move on, predicted that Villa would finish 9th. And I take umbrage with that. I think, if anything, they're going to finish equal or above last season. So between 5th and 7th, I'll be happy with. I don't think they're going to fall with 9th because the quality is much better than last season. But then again, so is the quality of the other teams as well. So I don't think it's going to be that low with that. But yeah, shooting for 5th or 6th, I reckon, for Villa. But yeah, really, really impressed with their window, to be honest. And yeah, can't wait for Friday against Chelsea. Great opener, but we're going to talk about that all in a bit. Right, I'm going to stop talking. Chloe, we're going to come on to you next for Brighton. So Brighton, again, feels like they've signed everyone this window. So talk to us about why it's exciting, why you're looking forward to see Frank Kirby, and anything else that's happened during Brighton's window. What do you think the season holds for them, Chloe?
Yeah, I think they've probably been the busiest of the teams in WSL. They have signed so many players. I think I worked out they signed 10 players on a permanent deal, put 2 in on loan, but also they've lost 10 players permanently and lost 4 on loan. Although I think most of the on loan players are sort of younger players, so they're just sort of getting experience elsewhere. But yeah, some of the names they've signed, obviously Frank Kirby, which for any team, she's a game changer. She can just sort of take the team on the shoulders and push them to a win. I think there's a result recently in pre-season where I think they won by quite a few goals and she's got a hat-trick, which if she's doing that pre-season, I'd be worried if I was the rest of the WSL because that sounds like she's back to her best. I mean, we've also got Kiko Seke, Rebecca Rayner, Elena Kankovic. I mean, Nikita Paris on the last day of the transfer window.
Yeah, Nikita Parsons' a big one, wasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, they are sort of putting together a serious team. And I think they could be dark horses this season. I think they could be. I mean, if Arsenal are going to struggle, they could be out there taking the place. If they get it right, then yeah, they really seem to be investing. That's great to see, especially sort of outside the sort of top 4. Yeah, it's great to see that. So they could spring a few surprises, and it could be
okay. So they could be the dark horses, could they?
Yeah.
Good. You heard it here first, everyone. Chloe is predicting Brighton as the dark horses of the competition. But to be fair, yeah, like the people that they've signed, like you said, if they get it right, why not? Yeah, absolutely. Was I going to say anything? Yeah, because they lost some pretty big names, didn't they?
Yeah.
The window. Was there anyone that surprised you that left?
I think Liz Turland, because obviously she had quite a big role last season, so to lose her would have been a bit of a blow. But I mean, they've signed some players to replace her, so don't know if it'll be as much of a miss as it was initially. I guess we shall see.
Yeah, because they've lost, but again, similar to Villa, they've reinforced what they had. Yeah, absolutely. Right, well, thank you for that one. And unfortunately, in alphabetical order, Chloe, we'll come back to you again for Chelsea. Now, as a Chelsea fan, primarily, and I'm going to say it again, when I was doing my transfer tracker, I physically can't see all of Chelsea's signings on one page, right? I have to scroll to see them. Now, a lot have come in and back out again on loan. And of course, getting Lucy Bronze was was the one that a lot of people were going, where's that come from? So yeah, talk to us about Chelsea's window and how excited are you for the new season?
I mean, they've not actually signed that many players compared to other teams. I mean, like 6 or so, 6, 7, I think. Obviously, Lucy being the main one. Sort of link with Leon, with the new manager, Sonia Bonpasteur, who at the moment, pre-season's got 100% record, which, yeah.
I mean, it's sort of right, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah. Just a 9-0 win against Final. Just
no just 9, not 15,
just
not
9.
100.
Yeah. So yeah, it's. I think it's mostly been players going out, like coming into the end of their sort of contracts. Like that off season, losing some players was absolutely brutal. Like, yeah, obviously, Anne Kretchenberger, Maren Mjolnir, Frank Kirby, loopholes. Yeah, so many big names that we've been part of, trophy winning sort of seasons, and tough to take, but yeah, some of the names we've got in recruited smartly, and then we've got loads of young players that have gone out on loan to get experience, which should be good for them, and interesting to see, if they come back, how they do. So yeah,
That sounded really ominous there. We'll see if they come back.
yeah.
See if they will come back.
We did have Rihanna Blaze, who's I think it's going to be somebody for the future, but she's left permanently to Burnley, so watch out for her. But yeah, it's. I mean, I still have no expectations as to how it's going to go, but I'm excited by what I've seen. I think the main objective is going to be winning Champions League.
I was going to say, yeah. Do you think this season it's possible?
I think it is possible. Yeah, players were brought in, but also the manager. She knows how to win it. So we just need that extra step last season. It just wasn't there for us. It's almost there. So hopefully we get this season.
Yeah, and interesting. Sonia Bonpasteur in her interview said, at the end of the day, if we don't win, blame me, not the players, which I thought was a bold claim before anything has started, to be like, yeah, she's
good team management as well. Just sort of taking the pressure off, really. Yeah, go doing the Emma Hayes stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think it was Lucy Bronze in that interview. She was like, they've kept like the Chelsea way, and they're only tweaking it and they're only getting better from there. So yeah, in fact, it's going to be an incredible. They always play well, don't they? If you can't play well on Friday, that'll be wonderful. If you just put players on that.
I mean,
bad players.
We're not known for starting well, so.
That's true. Yeah, if you just keep with that, fantastic. With that one, that would be great. Right. Thank you very much. Danny, I think it's finally your turn next. Crystal Palace.
Yes. Come on.
We're excited about this one
So
because newcomers
yeah.
to the WSL this season, but they've made some cracking signings. So what have you made of it? What are your predictions for this season? Talk us through.
Yeah, really, really excited. I think Laura Kaminski's done such a good job to get them up in the first place. They only went professional about a year ago, I think it was, like summer 2023. First time in the WSL. And there's such a vibe about them. Is that the language kids can use? Can I use that being 40 now? I don't know if I'm allowed to. I'm going to use it anyway.
You can say posse vibes.
Yeah, posse vibes. There'll be a few Thundy bees from them, I'm sure. But last season, they were absolutely rampant at times. We loved watching them in the Championship last season. Scored 55 goals, played such free-flowing football. My only little concern about them is maybe they'll get caught out a little bit sometimes and get a few absolute tonkins just because of the way they play. Kaminski has kind of talked about maybe they're going to have to play a little bit different in some games, so hopefully they'll be able to sort that out. But they play such gung-ho football, that is it is such a joy to watch that you sometimes worry when you step up to the next league up that they get found out and get a few batterings, but they're so fun to watch. I mean, Annabelle Blanchard, such a great player. We were ranting on about her last season. I'm so excited to see her step up. Izzy Atkinson as well should do well in the WSL. Molly May Sharp, so gutted that Elise Hughes can't start the season. She's out with an ACL, picked up just at the end of last season. I was saying all of last season, she's got a WSL striker about her. She's just got that knack and that presence that I think she's going to do so well eventually when she does get in back in the side and back fit again. I really hope that's as soon as possible because I want to see how that front line works in WSL. But such a good baseline to go on originally, but they brought in some great players as well. A really busy window for them. The likes of India Paige Riley from PSV, Mike Kato, Katie Stengels joined from Gotham. So some really strong signings all across the board, just to kind of build on what they've already got. They brought in Poppy Pritchard as well right at the end of the window from Man City. Did well at Durham last season. So again, really excited to see how she kicks on. She's been doing really well for the England young teams as well, for the young Lionesses. So yeah, Lily Woodham as well from Seattle. Just a really strong players coming in and a good amount. It's just hopefully that they'll be able to all gel quickly and they'll be able to keep playing the way that we love watching them play, because they were such a joy to watch last season. And I hope they don't get kind of their wings clipped or anything like that, because I really want them to stay up. I think they can. And I think hopefully they can kind of put to bed any kind of doubts about coming back up in the kind of the difference between the WSL and the Championship. Because it'd be a shame to waste what happened last season. It was such a good season for them. So very, very excited by Palace.
Yeah, absolutely. And I genuinely believe with all my heart that they can stay up.
Yeah,
I really do. Because Chloe, I know you've got a goal soon, so we'll come straight to you for West Ham, because actually thoughts are maybe West Ham are going to struggle this season, regardless of what's happened in their window. So Chloe, we'll just come to you for West Ham, because again, they've had a bit of a shake-up. They've got a new captain in Katrina Gorry. And they've brought people in, but we've spoken before about maybe it's Rianne Skinner's time to maybe move on, maybe. But yeah, what do you think? Talk us through it.
Yeah, it might be, but also I think it's gonna be a nightmare for the commentators this season. Looking at the players they've signed, I hope they're doing their research and making sure they pronounce some of the names that they've signed.
I don't know what you mean. Semek, Sayez, Zadorsky, Pavi, Poibel. I mean, nice and straightforward.
Well, yeah. Somebody's done the research. But yeah, they've signed. It seems to be sort of more European sort of feel they've gone for this season. But yeah, I don't know, West Ham, they came up with sort of such great promise a while back, and then it's just something's just not clicked yet. I don't know if it will, and it's not the league where you can just try and go along with it, because you need to be on it. So if you lose quite a few times, then that's probably you. It's doomed to go down. So yeah, it's a worrying time for West Ham, especially having lost sort of key players like Mackenzie Arnold, Howard Sissoko.
I was just about to say, yeah, a lot of starting players as well.
Although she's done her ACL, so I don't know. But yeah, it's a bit of a worrying situation. Yeah, it could be ones that they could really struggle this season.
Do you reckon that'll be a massive loss for them, the fact that Mackenzie Arnold, Howard Sissoko, etc., were all like key starting players into their gelling for the new season?
Yeah, I think that'll be a big blow for them, definitely.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, again, I really hope they prove us wrong, but track record, and maybe again with so much change, maybe that has impacted them a little bit. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Absolutely. Right then, we're back to me. Now, I've got Everton next. Now, some losses in the form, again, I've done my heartbreak spiel about Martina Piemonte lots of times. But of course, more recently, Tony Duggan, Hannah Bennison as well, who, like we mentioned earlier, is having a great time at Juventus. Katrine Vehi as well. But Everton, having the small budget that they do, they've managed to get some really, really great names. They've got T-Pin. I mean, what a fantastic signing there from Sevilla. And also Imma Gabaro. And of course, they got Hayashi from West Ham as well, didn't they? And Beatrice Sari. Now, how they've shaped up in pre-season. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster. So they've played a lot of Championship and Tier 3 sides as well. But they managed to have Villa and Liverpool recently before their season started. So it was 0-0 against Liverpool. It was 3-1 defeat against Villa. However, Brian Sorensen, I was reading up, and he said, we've played a lot of different opposition, and the lower sides, of course, don't ask the same questions that WSL sides do. So it was great to get minutes in the legs and that kind of thing, practice some different things, especially formation-wise with all these new faces coming in. And he said, look, it's the off-the-ball stuff where we've had weeks of trying to get that right. And it was important to have the WSL opposition right before the new season, because that's their real test. That's how to hit the ground running. And he said, at the end of the day, some of the goals that we conceded, they could have been avoided. So now we've seen those errors, we can really push forward. And that's what you can tell is going to be his main goal this season. He said, I know we've lost, but inside, we've had lots of opportunities. We've got lots of minutes in. We're building them up. And bless our Bri, he said, I'm super positive about the team. So he's absolutely loving it. So I think, again, Everton, once they've really gelled together, I think, again, they're going to be fine. I don't think they're going to maybe bottom mid of the table, around about where they were last time with Villa. But I'd really like to see them succeed and, push that boundary. And I do actually have, from Chloe, a little voice note about her heartbreak about Tony Duggan, which I'd like to play for you all now. So I'm going to play it. I'll see if you can hear it. And then if so, I'll continue. Okay. So can we hear this?
So Tony Duggan has announced her retirement from football, and let me just tell you, gang, that I'm gutted.
Can you hear that? Yeah. Okay. We shall continue with Chloe's eulogy. Hang on.
Can't even put into words how upset I am or how much that she means to me as a player and as a person. It's just so sad. Her career has been absolutely phenomenal. Started at Everton in 2007. She played for Everton, and I can't. I'm just so upset. Her Everton career, her Man City career, her time at Barcelona. She was the first female player to go play at Barcelona, and she went to Atletico Madrid, and she ended her career with us, with Everton. And she's just an incredible person. She's an incredible player. She was the first one to have a baby while still playing, and was the one who fought and managed to get the maternity pay, maternity package for the players. And I just think that's absolutely phenomenal that she changed the way and changed the game almost for players to be able to have a baby and still compete competitively, and how they get looked after by the club and all of this. She's just an incredible campaigner. She's an incredible person. I've met her countless times, and every time she's just been nothing but amazing. She's been nothing but kind and nothing but lovely, and I'm just really upset, and I really love her, and I might just burst into tears at work. So sad.
So that was Chloe's moment. I'm sad she couldn't say it in person, but she did pop into the toilets for us at work to record that, so she could have her say for that one. But yeah, I think there's been some. Again, it's been a window that he's definitely strengthened. He's got the players in, but there have been some massive losses, especially character-wise and leadership-wise as well. So again, it'll be an interesting first couple of games, but I've got all faith in Everton for them to do that. Paul, we're going to come to you next for Leicester. So with this one, talk us through, because again, relatively quietly confident, would you think? But yeah, talk us through it. What do you think Leicester going to do this season?
Well, first of all, this is the calm before the storm, because the Sky Blues lost with 2 goals in the last couple of minutes for Spurs. So,
oh no,
settle in for Man United. That's all I'm saying. All that rage has got to go somewhere. But it won't go at Leicester, because Leicester are a really interesting team. They've got a new manager after the issues they had last season, which we won't talk about too much. And it's a really interesting choice. A really fun name to say as well. Amandine Miquel, who has joined from Stade de Reims, I believe. And she's one of those managers who says all the right things. Like she gives the same vibe as Robert Villaham does, and I mean that as an absolute compliment. Like she's come in and she's talked about how she wants to play exciting football. She wants to play pressing football. She wants to play passing football. And entertain the crowd at Leicester, which is great. It's great to have a manager come in and say that in the, for want of a better word, lower reaches of the WSL. Because, a lot of managers may feel in the WSL that a lot of the time they have to grind results out. And for Miquel to come in and say straight away, no, I want to play enjoyable football. And the transfers, there's been quite some change at Leicester City in terms of changing of the guard, but the players they've lost aren't, with all due respect to them, losses, in the sense that they were fringe players, they were squad players, because they've lost Ava Baker to Birmingham City and Monique Robinson to Sheffield United. There were 2 young players. Demi Lambourne to Sunderland. Josie Green has gone to Crystal Palace, but I suspect Josie Green for Palace will be more of a squad player than, a massive loss. Remy Simpson has gone to Kristianstad in the Danish league, but she was very much a backup striker. Eileen Whelan has retired, so there will be a new captain this season. And Amy Palmer has left for Southampton after being another kind of fringe player. So there are no names there that I look at and go, oof, that sucks to lose. If the biggest name there is Josie Green, who, with all due respect to Josie Green, is not a name that you think of and go, oh, she's got to be in our fantasy team, or oh, she's key to Leicester. She's just kind of there. A very good player, but she's just kind of there. It's not a name like Rantala or a name like Lena Peterman or a name where you go, oof, that's a massive loss.
Yeah.
And this leads me on to the transfer strategy of Amandine Miquel. And it's really interesting because our favourite player in the WSL for pronunciation, because we still haven't worked out how to pronounce her name properly, Asmita Ale is coming from Tottenham. Sari Keys has come in from Leuven in Belgium as well, which I suspect may have seen the influence of Janice Cayman, perhaps, as a fellow Belgian international there. Ruby Mace has officially left Manchester City, finally, after officially leaving Arsenal for Manchester City, which was still one of the weirdest moves that I can remember seeing in a little while. She has a point to prove this season, as still a very young player who was on the fringes of Lionesses talk and in the lists of best young players, and then her career kind of stalled because she did that classic thing of young player at a big club going out on loan to several places and kind of falling off the radar. And then you have one of the underrated stars of the last Women's World Cup, which is Chantal Swaby, who's been brought in from Fleury, which is a really interesting move because it's basically, right, we're going to put a wall at the back, like a proper physical, no-nonsense warrior in the trenches centre-back, which there aren't enough of, frankly, in the WSL. Especially when players like Hawa Sissoko have left. I confidently predict Chantal Swaby is going to annoy the living hell out of WSL Twitter because she just does not care, and she will go through people with no respect to her reputation. So the first time she kicks an Arsenal or a Chelsea or a Man United player up in the air, all hell is going to break loose.
Kate McCabe.
Just if she just puts Katie McCabe in the stands of the King Power, then the discourse will be amazing. Like probably a bit depressing as well, because there will doubtless be, because Chantal Swaby being a player of colour, it probably will get nasty. So we should probably brace ourselves for that. But the first time she puts someone like Katie McCabe in the stands is going to be absolutely amazing. And she will, because she's that type of player. Shayna Shosanotti has come in, a young player as well. Amandine Miquel knows from Stade de Reims. But the player that I've left till last to pick out, who's the one who I find really, really interesting, is another player from Stade de Reims. It's Noémie Mouchon. Now, she is a young French striker who, and as we know, the French do like to produce strikers. And they do like to produce tricky, pacey strikers. And she is one of those. Like, she is electric. And she can play anywhere across the front line. She loves to run at opposition defenders. And she's just one of those players who, if you're watching for, your WSL fantasy, Noémie Mouchon, she's could be one of those bargains later in the season. To keep an eye on once she settles. So using WSL logic, it'll be about January. But
if she adapts to the league,
if she adapts, still haven't mentioned him. Past 4 minutes 87 now. Still haven't mentioned
him. What? I'm really proud of you.
And just it's tricky because you really don't want to talk about the teams that are down towards the bottom end and actually pick one to go down, because aside from West Ham, all of the teams you traditionally pick down that bottom end, you really don't want them to go down because they're really, like Everton do things the right way, obviously, with Brian Sorensen. We've talked about that at length.
Yeah.
Leicester are starting to do it, and Amandine Miquel is really making positive noises about that sort of thing. And the crucial thing is they've signed young, exciting players as well. They haven't just gone out and gone, let's pick up a few random young youngsters from the big three on loan. They've actually gone out and signed these players who have committed to the project and who the manager knows well. And that I think Leicester will be comfortably safe this season. I think them and Palace are the two teams down in that bottom group who can probably consider themselves most comfortably safe. I would be very, very surprised if Leicester went down. They might flirt with relegation, but I think they'll very much.
Yeah. Now, in the same as you, I can't see them going down. But that's the thing. Like until we see everyone play, and again, I don't even think at Christmas we can call it, because we've seen how much it changes. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting, because with all these players that have been brought in, that, like we've said, are flying under the radar and people don't really know what they're about yet. It's going to be really interesting to watch everyone trying to figure each other out and how that goes.
In terms of flirting with relegation, Leicester are going to be in the bar and relegation will chat them up, but there's never any chance of Leicester going home with them.
What an analogy. Absolutely. Yeah, Emma's on the same wavelength. Yeah, it's got to be one for the books, flirt with relegation. You should release a book, Paul, of all of your sayings. It'll be like, I don't think you'd publish it, maybe an ebook. Just
do one of those supercut things. You know, on YouTube they do supercuts. Sam, there's one for you. You just pick them out. We'll just do a supercut of the wisdom of Paul or something. And we'll just... And you think my quotes are good now, Emma? I've still got Manchester United to come, and I'm pissed off because the Sky Blues lost. So that's all I'm saying.
Who's ready? Right. You know what? I want to get there, so I'll just keep Liverpool really quick. But yeah, so Liverpool up next. And again, I know we've got a few Liverpudlians. Sorry, can't get me words out today. In the chat. So again, let us know what you think. But yeah, they've had a pretty quiet transfer window, but Matt Beard pretty much, I was looking at some of his interviews and he very much feels like he's got the players that he wants, he's got the players that he needs, and he's very happy with his squad as they are. I think the big shock, like I mentioned before, was losing Missy Kearns. I think people thought, she's Liverpool, she's kind of someone that when you think of Liverpool, you think of Missy Bo, but then if you think about it, was she starting to maybe fall out of favour, maybe falling out of that starting lineup? And Villa offered her the chance of, hey, come on in. We have places free. But yeah, they only 3 in, but lost 7. So Missy Bo and Mary Taylor to Villa, as we said earlier. But I mean, last season, the team that Matt Beard had and what he did was phenomenal, wasn't it? So he will be looking to equal it, hopefully better it. But even if he gets up there and is still challenging, still taking points off the top teams, I think they're going to have a fantastic season. Who they have brought in, though, very exciting. So Cornelia Capox. Now, Matt Beard said he brought her in because she's something different to what they already had. So he's looking to extend. He's looking for that variety across the front line. And he's hoping that, again, she can maybe solve maybe some creativity goal scoring problems and just really make sure that no matter how they line up, they're getting the goals in and they're getting those points. But of course, it was Olivia Smith, the under 20 Canadian international. That was a club record, of course. So again, that shows they're putting the money in, they're making the investment. And because she's a youngster, they're doing it for the future as well. And apparently she can't wait to get started. She told him for the friendly the other night that, you could have put us on the bench. I wanted to play. And he was like, you've just come back from the under-20s World Cup. Like, give yourself a chance, breathe, it's okay. But the fact that everyone there feels like they're ready for it, I'm excited to see what they do. And I know Emily's put there in the chat, we've gone for quality over quantity. Yeah, absolutely. Because like we saw with Man City last season, 1 in, Jill Road, and she did all right, didn't she? Jill Road when she came in. So yeah, it depends on who you bring in. And the last one, of course, was Gemma Evans, brought in from Man United. Wasn't used correctly at United. I think we all know that. But Matt, as if it's my best mate, sorry. Matt Beard said, him and Liz. He's brought her in as another option at left back and as a long-term signing as well. So he really sees her future with the club, and I think she does as well. And she just fits in, apparently. And he says the competition for places is so important. You can see us in training now. The standards have been raised. So I think, Liverpool are going to have another cracking season. And again, if we're predicting Arsenal maybe dropping down a few pegs, again, maybe Liverpool can be up there again. So let's go to I don't know. Danny, do you want to get City out of the way and then we'll go United? Or
Yeah,
should
I'm
we-
excited to hear United, so I'll get City done. Everyone's waiting for it. We'll keep everyone hanging on for a bit, shall we?
Yeah.
Get
Okay,
I'm,
so
I'm doing my
Man-
stretches here while you're doing. I'm just,
but yeah, Man City, Danny. Again, they've had my transfer track's frozen now. No, come back. Yeah, I mean, Miedemar. I mean, they've brought in Viv. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But also some other fantastic signings that again maybe have gone under the radar because of signing Viv. So yeah, take us through. What do you think about City's season?
Yeah, I think the big thing is can they finally break the Chelsea cycle? That's the main thing for them, isn't it? Runners up in 6 of the last 8 seasons. They're going to be so desperate to get the title back, aren't they? But it wasn't a bad start to the window, was it? Getting Viv in, it seemed like it
Not
happened
bad,
so
yeah.
long ago, but it was like right at the start of the window. All the talk's probably going to be about how they get all their attacking players into the side, especially. I mean, the surprise news today: Jill Roord not back, but on the road to recovery. So I was like, I thought she was going to be another couple of months at least, but apparently she's back training. She could be back sooner than we think, so that's going to be a massive boost for them if that's true. But getting her back, the likes of Hemp, Chloe Kelly, Jess Park, Mary Fowler, obviously Bunny Shaw as well with Roord Miedema. Attacking wise, it's going to be formidable going forwards. And the good thing about what City do as well is all of those players can play in more than one position. So you can play across the front line. And that's probably where they trump Arsenal a little bit as well. Arsenal seem like they've got a lot of players, but they're stuck to their positions quite a lot. What City do really well is they intertwine. Intertwine, is that a word? Or they kind of play in quite a few different positions across the front line. They've got the likes of Hasegawa pulling it all together as well. The balance is really good. The defense was fantastic last season. Only conceded 15 goals. And I think they need some silverware. That's the main thing. They need to get a trophy this season. I think they'll get it in some form. I can see them winning something. I'm hoping it's going to be the league, as I feel like I want someone different on top. And I feel like it might be their season. Obviously, Viv's come in. Alba Fagino as well. From Tokyo. Absolute star in Japan. Only 20, but she's the youngest ever World Cup goal scorer in men's or women's football. She could be another one to come into that attacking line this season out of nowhere. Probably someone where the majority of people haven't really seen come in or know much about. She could come in and do a great job. And I think overall it's looking really good for City. They've kept what they've got. And they're building on it really, really well. And with the star power of Viv as well, I really hope she goes this weekend, and scores against Arsenal. It's just written in the script, isn't it, for her to pop up with a goal or two? Yeah, excited to see. I don't like the fair few stalwarts going out. Ali Roebuck, gone to Barcelona, Esme Morgan, Debbie Stokes, Ruby Mace we've talked about. Angel Dahl as well to Real Madrid. Obviously, they've lost Steph to retirement. Steph, like I know her again. And
just the best mates, everyone.
Yeah. And Poppy Pritchard on loan to Palace. But for the most part, they kept their first 11, their first squad, and it's looking so strong for them.
It is. And of course, they've brought in another 3 goalkeepers as well.
Yes.
And Yamashita in pre-season looked incredibly good as well. So the fact that they've now, like you said, they've got people in multiple positions fighting for those places. It's such a stellar lineup. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah, she's going to push Keating as well, isn't she? I think.
Yeah,
Yamashita. So it's going to be a tough battle. That's probably what she needs, though, as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And then they're only going to make each other better, aren't they? With that one, I'm excited. Right. The moment everyone's been waiting.
Nancy's excited as well.
Yeah, Nancy's going.
She knows.
Nancy knows.
In fact, should we wait a little bit longer? Should we do Spurs, Danny, and then we'll let Paul just.
Yeah, I can do Spurs then. Yeah.
We'll keep you for the piece de resistance at the end, Paul. That's
the main event.
Spurs won't take long. It's fine.
No, everything's good at Spurs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, again, along with Palace, one of the teams I'm really looking forward to, really enjoy. Robert Villaham, Bobby Vills, I'm going to call him. It's just why not. One of the success stories for me last season, playing some superb football along the way. Obviously got to the FA Cup final, got to 6th in WSL, and I've seen a couple of interviews with him over the summer, and the fact that he comes out and says the main thing for him is creating the right environment for his players. You can tell from some of the signings, some of the squad in place at the minute, how happy they are to be playing for Spurs, how good that environment is that he's created. And you can tell when they play, they're playing with the freedom, with the happiness. If something goes wrong, they're not too down about it. If they lose a game, they're not too down about it. Beth England, I think, prime example up front, coming back from a couple of injuries last season, but back to her best, smile on her face, best way to be. And some of the players they brought in as well, really, really good. Hayley Raso was probably my favourite at WSL transfer of the summer. The way that she plays and how she'll fit into that system, I think it's a perfect fit. Having the ribbon back in the WSL, is excited.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I just think he's the perfect signing for Spurs. Brilliant signing. Yeah. I think Matej Orels as well from Real Madrid. Really clever player. Probably come in to replace Grace Clinton going back on loan. Her movement, the ability to bring people into play, to the ability to link the play, she'll just sit there and make everything tick. I think she's a massive upgrade on what they've got in there, even more so than Clinton. Even I think that's a great signing. Should be more than enough to replace her. Anna Chiki as well from Hacken coming into that midfield. Got Ella Morris coming in from Southampton, England under 23 international. Amanda Nilden in from Juventus. Claire Hunt from PSG. Again, loads of players with loads of experience to add to what they've got. And it just seems like Spurs is a good place to go and play your football at the minute. And that is what they're building there. They've, really creating a structure and an environment where people want to come and play football. And you can tell in what they're doing. And they play Palace, I think, this weekend, don't they? So that's a cracking match to kick things off. I can see loads of goals in that one.
Me too. I'm really excited.
Excited by Spurs. Bobby Vills doing the job.
Hashtag Bobby Vills. Graham, I think, needs a spot on this show. If Yamashita becomes number one and don't concede many, will she be known as clean sheeter?
Yes.
From now on, yes.
Yes, she will.
Yes, she absolutely will, Graham. Thank you very much.
Unless that's in a floaty lob.
Yeah. Because no one likes a floaty lob. Now, Emma, I haven't got confused with my alphabet. We said we're going to leave Paul to last, so then we can give him his moment.
We're just going to leave Paul on here. We're going to go and just leave Paul all night. It's got 4 hours worth of material.
Just live streaming. Right. Now, we're going to come on to the club that we all love to talk about, Manchester United. Now, it has been nearly 2 hours, and Paul has not said the man's name, and we're very proud of him. However, I'm feeling hell is about to be unleashed. So there's obviously been some issues around the club that we've talked about before. Some issues with the manager we've talked about before. However, the signings, both in and out, have told another picture altogether, which kind of backs up what we've been talking about. So I'm going to stop talking. Everyone get your popcorn and your drinks ready. Paul, tell us about this transfer window. And what do you think this season has in store for Manchester United?
I apologise in advance for this, by the way. But first of all, we need to talk about that ticket video. Because Man United have had problems apparently selling tickets for their game at Old Trafford. And so they decided to release one this week with Gen Z slang to jump on the kind of trend of people doing stuff in Gen Z slang. And it was horrific. It really was. It was just levels of cringeworthy. But to pay tribute to it, I am now going to do at least some of my introduction
Okay.
in Gen Z slang. So are you ready for a 40-year-old bloke who apparently looks like Jesus according to according to Chloe's girlfriend. I had to get that one in there. To attempt to talk about Manchester United in Gen Z slang.
I can't wait.
Trying to do this without laughing. Anyway, so basically, this transfer window this summer for Man United was lit. They had some proper riz in the transfer market, and that's the tea. Because first they were absolutely vibing by bringing in Liz Turland, Simia Weljo as well. In fact, the whole team had a proper glow up, you might say. But it was giving a bit sus. It was giving a bit chuggy in some of the, I can't believe I've just said that. But it was giving a bit chuggy in some of the way that they went about it. Because, you know, all of the Man United fans were simping for the new signings. And we're talking about how dank it was. And absolutely stunning Liz Turland, thinking that she's going to slay this season. Saying as well that Celine Bizet, that signing slaps as well, fam. And that Man United were showing some real drip in the transfer market. One might say they were cooking, they were eating this summer. And they ate and left no crumbs. Mark Skinner, was it? Are you okay, Freya? Like, I think I got through all of them, no cap. But basically, it was all giving a bit desperate from Mark Skinner anyway, because there you go, 1 minute 56, 1 hour 56.
Beetlejuice.
There you go. But basically, some of the stuff that he said, again, like, we're the same but different, just before letting Nikita Paris go. And I forgot Dominique Janssen because I have put the signing video of a hostage video. You know, I got that out because that was giving a bit scary, frankly. That was giving proper sus. And basically, I love the fact that did any of you hear that? I love the fact that Kevin sat there going, "That's not even a real phrase. You can't combine two of them." It's like I haven't used either of them correctly, apparently.
Oh,
So,
shame.
you know, it's giving chuggy. Basically, Graham, don't worry. There will be translations for you.
Yeah, there will be subtitles on the bottom. Don't worry.
But I don't know. Just now we've done all the Gen Z stuff. Don't worry. I've done even more that Man United have, and absolutely tore the rear end out of that. So you know, I'll stop now.
Going to be getting changed in their skibbity toilets.
Indeed, I am, because it was not dank, and we are not feeling the immaculate vibes. It just sounds wrong, doesn't it? But for people who don't speak Gen Z, what I was basically saying was that they looked like they had a really, really good transfer window. And all the Man United fans were getting really, really excited over the likes of Liz Turland, Simia Wujo, Dominique Janssen as well, Celine Bizet. The trouble with all of it is, and this caused my mentions to look like something out of bloody Game of Thrones. You know that scene where Jon Snow just faces the cavalry charge single-handedly with a sword? That was me with Man United fans every time I mentioned them over the summer. But the main one was when they signed Celine Bizet, they all went absolutely mad. And, upgraded, and now Clinton's back and we're going to cook and all that stuff. Firstly, don't know where Grace Clinton's going to fit, because she and Ella Toon are rivals for the same position. And only one of them can play. And Mark Skinner likes playing Ella Toon, which is fair enough because she's a fantastic player. But if he's going to try and force a square peg into a round hole with Grace Clinton, and I don't know if it'll work anywhere near as much. Like there's talk of change of formation and 3 at the back and all sorts of stuff, and it's just Mark Skinner didn't know what formation he was playing when he only had 1. Now he's changing it, like, and moving people around. And he's got a set of new players. Like Ella Toone apparently played on the left during pre-season. You've had Leah Galton talking about how she has a new role.
Yeah, I saw that. That's going to be interesting, yeah.
Which is probably wing back against Chelsea, because we saw how well that worked at Old Trafford. And some of the stuff he's coming out with, like talking about Fallon Tullis-Joyce and saying, "Oh, she's the best shot stopper I've ever worked with."
Mm-hmm.
That's a bit of a dig at the best goalie in the world, supposedly, who you've let go over the summer. That one, like,
it was a quick turnaround.
It was, yeah. It's giving desperate. Like, he just keeps saying stuff, and like signing Celine Bizet. I know I'm all over the place, but signing Celine Bizet, and they all went, "Oh yeah, we've got Bizet and Clinton back." It's like, no, like Danny said with Spurs upgraded by letting Bizet go for 60k, which they then used on Mathieu Rose, and signing Hayley Rasso, who let's not rip here. Man United fans would have killed to have Hayley Rasso play for them. If Hayley Rasso had signed for Man United, then she would have been, oh, the ribbon's coming back, and oh, we're going to cook, and oh, can't wait for seeing this. Man United fans with all the Gen Alpha slang, and genuinely some of them are, like, posting stuff from training with, like, "I am seated, give me it." Behave, it's a training session. That is not going to happen in the game, firstly, because the defenders will actually tackle. And secondly, just working stuff around. But you look at it and you go, again, there's too much opportunity for Mark Skinner to tinker. And as soon as Mark Skinner starts tinkering, stuff goes wrong. He's like the opposite of a mechanic. He just kind of breaks things for fun. He's
the opposite of a mechanic. And it's hard, isn't it? Because you look at those players that he's brought in, and with all the best will in the world of how quality they are, you just think, is he actually going to rotate? Is he actually going to use them? Will they achieve their full potential while he's in charge as he's been, or does there need to be a shift?
There might be a shift, because he's talked about how we're the same but different, and how there's supposedly different changes. But again, it's an Arsenal problem. All the players, or the vast majority of the players, are in positions that Man United don't need, because like True said, Skinner won't do anything.
No.
And what he will do will be wrong. So that's the problem. See, Emma's catching up now. See? Indeed.
Yeah.
It's.
I was just looking at truth to the comment there. Either he gets it right or he gets sacked. So it's a win-win. Yeah, pretty much.
But we thought that all of last season as well, didn't we? We had so many. There had so many times where we thought that's it, it's going to be gone next week, and then they'll pull out a 1-0 win somewhere, and it'll be the best thing since sliced bread again, according to their fans. So it's.
I mean, the way Man United fans have been talking this summer, it's like, have you forgotten that you've got a lamppost in charge? Like, have you forgotten? Have you forgotten that you've got someone who is the human equivalent of a screen door on a submarine in terms of use? Like, he's just nobody knows why he's there. To use the Simpsons joke, he's like a mule with a spinning wheel, because nobody knows how he got there, and damned if he knows what to do with it. And it's like, then, to saying we haven't forgotten, but do you want us to stay miserable? It's like, no, but have some restraint. Realise that you've got this guy who is utterly incompetent as your manager, and has proven himself to be utterly out of his depth. He's like the opposite of Midas. Everything he says turns to shit. Like, it's just he just kind of.
Yeah, it's that sense of realism, isn't it? And it's very much realistic in expectations, realistic in what's going to happen. And yes, you can err on the side of positive optimism and positive caution. But I think it was very telling that Dominique Janssen very much came in with the expectation that they would be in Champions League. And then she said the whole, okay, well, 1 year without it's okay. But any more than that, I'm off. And I think maybe expectations weren't fulfilled last season. So then you'd hope that would give them the fight to come back this season and really go for it. But ultimately, the players can only do so much, can't they? If they're given the opportunity to do it.
I think that somehow Mark Skinner will find a way to mess this up because he'll overthink it. Like,
okay.
Emma's like, he can manage his way out the car park. He couldn't manage to hit water if he fell out of a boat. Like, he genuinely find a way to just kind of get stuff a bit wrong and not win the games. The Man United's trouble last season was not winning the games they were expected to win. It wasn't losing to Chelsea or Man City or whatever else. It was not winning the games they were expected to win.
Yeah.
And I am not convinced that has been fixed just because they've got Liz Turland and now they're Norway FC or whatever they're being referred to as by the kids nowadays. But
back to the kids. Yeah, it's a problem that needs fixing, and at the end of the day, we want the best for that team, don't we? So yes, we can have a laugh and a joke about Mark Skinner and what he said this week, but ultimately, it's to the detriment of the club, isn't it? Like everything that he's done so far.
I mean, in all seriousness, if Truth is sat there, who is a Man United fan and has challenged me in the past on my Man United views, which is fair enough, and I love a bit of healthy debate. If he sat there saying Mark Skinner will mess up, if that is the mentality, if that represents how Man United fans are going into the season, realistically, that's really bad. That says something about it. And Graham's nicking my lines now. That was my next line.
Oh, Graham, you're a good egg. But...
this is the trouble. Pride comes before the fjord. But it's...
oh, well done.
But I don't think Man United will be in the top four. I think they will probably regress even on last season.
Oh, okay.
And I think that the Man United board won't fire Mark Skinner quickly enough to fix it. So this is potentially a lost season. I think, like I said last season, I think the worst thing that could have happened for Man United is Mark Skinner winning the FA Cup because it's given him this season.
Yeah, it's given that a bit more longevity, hasn't it? Yeah. Because there were rumours that, was it Tommy Stroot was meant to be coming in next season? But now he signed an extension with his club. So that's out the window. So hopefully, if there's, the silver lining, that someone sees that maybe, well, definitely a change would be great for all parties involved. But hey, you'll probably get another contract extension because that's the chaos that we live for on this podcast. But yeah, so
prediction for them 6th or 7th.
6th or 7th?
Mid-table.
Okay. That can be, yeah. I mean, and again, for as much as he always talks about the club of Man United and the badge, and all the players that have come in have said, it's been a dream to play for the club and to wear the badge and things like that. Not for the manager of the team, etc. So it's a statement signing for them, isn't it? And a dream that a lot of people will have had. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what he makes of it. And because anyone else would kill for some of them signings, wouldn't they? I mean, having Turland in your team, our Liz, is stand out, and hopefully again she gets the respect that she deserves. Now, the last thing we will talk about is, of course, predictions for this weekend. Now, look at those fixtures. What a good weekend we've got coming up. I would say I can't wait, but again, Chelsea Villa, the first match. So, at least on Friday, gets it out the way, and we'll have a lovely ride down on the fan club coach, and we'll go and we'll sit there and we will sing the whole way through. That's what we're going to do. So I would like your predictions, please, boys, for this one. Okay, so first one, Chelsea Villa. Paul, any thoughts on this one?
Why do I think Villa will get a point?
You know what? We've said it all week. If we are just going to shoot for the stars and have it as a free shot, throw everything at it, just go for it, why can't we get a point?
Like, it would be very WSL for Villa to win, and everyone to massively overreact.
Oh yeah,
with Chelsea.
Chaos. Yeah.
It's a possibility, but I think Chelsea have too much to not score, and that's the problem. It would be a massive thing for Robert de Paul to win his first, but your first game in English football to be Chelsea away, even if it is the Chelsea away under a new manager. Did
you know he's the first Dutch manager of the WSL?
That sounds wrong, but yeah.
I mean, I read it somewhere the other day. It could be wrong. If anyone wants to fact check us, you can. But yeah, I'm sure that's what I said. So yeah, mad.
I think that I am going to be optimistic. I'm not going to be quite. Yeah, I am. Do you know what? Sod it. Full chaos. Villa win.
Wait. By like 5-4 or something daft. Like
yeah, it's Chelsea are going to win 5-0 now, but I've put the guess down on it. But
hey, we got smashed 6-0 last season, so 5-0, we'll take it. That's improvement.
I'm either going to look a genius or I'm going to get laughed at. We'll see.
Or both.
Or both.
Danny, what do you think about this one?
I've got a feeling about the draw as well, actually. I think this is a good time to play Chelsea. If you're going to play them any time, play them on the first day. Was it Liverpool who beat him a couple of years ago on the first day of the season?
Yeah. And you know who scored? Mary Taylor. Oh, no, that was against Arsenal. Sorry, my bad. Getting my matches mixed up. Ignore me. Sorry.
Yeah, so Liverpool beat, and they beat Arsenal on the first day last season. Funny things happened, don't they, in the opening day? So 1-1, I think, if you want to score, or a draw if you don't.
Yeah, hey, we'll go with the draw.
I think we're doing it. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's good. Paul, your faves, your besties, Man United versus West Ham at Old Trafford.
It's set up for a West Ham win. Like, genuinely, because disappointing ticket sales. Everyone, including us to some degree, absolutely writing off West Ham. Man United trying to bed in a load of new signings.
Yeah.
Do I want to go for an away? Yeah, screw it. West Ham win.
Love it. Danny, what are you thinking?
I think United will just scrape it. Single goal win, maybe. Like a late goal. I think West Ham will hold on, and then United will nick something by the end.
Yeah. I'm going to go draw for a 1-1 West Ham off the post last minute winner to completely mess with it. Okay, next up, Brighton Everton. Brighton Everton, that'll be a good one. Paul, what are you thinking?
I don't want to predict a Brighton win because, bad start of the season for Everton, but it's either going to be a fairly comprehensive Brighton win, or they're going to have a horrific start because of all the new players.
One or the other.
And I can't pick between it, but because, and we're kind of torn because either way I'm going to annoy one of the Chloes if I pick a win. So we'll be safe. We'll go for a draw for that one.
A draw. Okay. Danny?
I'm going to go Brighton win. Oh.
I'm going to go Everton win. Why not? Going to go for it. Okay. Arsenal Man City. This will be the one everyone's talking about. Paul, what do you think?
Man City by a couple.
Ooh.
Man City to make an early statement.
Statement of intent for the winners of the season. Danny, what are you thinking?
Man City by a Viv for me.
By a Viv.
Has to be.
Yeah, it's got to be City, hasn't it? Yeah. And especially, of course, Jess Park on top scoring form as well. Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it? Okay. Last two then. Liverpool, Leicester, Paul. Liverpool, Leicester.
Two teams who are really intriguing in their own ways, like a properly intriguing opening thing of the season.
Sorry, this made me laugh.
Just sit there.
That's good work. That's good work.
Very good. Very good.
Very good. No, it was very good, Emma. It was very good.
The consensus says that was very good. Home win by 1 goal. I think Liverpool just sneak that.
Liverpool just, yeah, I think it's going to be a tight one. Danny?
I think Liverpool are going to win this comfortably.
Oh,
They've got to a really good start.
Yeah, I think Liverpool might just edge it. Let's go. And last one then, Spurs Palace. Paul.
A week or two ago, I'd have said Spurs by a fair way, but it's got a lot closer with Palace's deadline day signings, like things like Poppy Pritchard as well. Not just the signings. Katie Stengel on deadline day, Poppy Pritchard. Draw. Both teams come away happy with that one. Score draw.
Yeah. Danny?
Yeah, this is going to be a ding-dong, I think, which is 3-2 or more. We talked about the rules of the Thunder Bastard earlier. The rules of a ding-dong is it has to be 3-2 or higher. So I think we're going to go Tottenham just about edging a ding-dong, 3-2. There's definitely goals in it, 100%.
Edging a ding-dong. What a phenomenal sentence that is.
If you put that into Google, you're not going to get a football podcast.
Title of the pod.
that's got to go for WSL preview, edging a ding dong. Just imagine the hits we get on that.
Oh god, yeah. And people going, "What? Why aren't they talking about football? What is it?" That's not what I wanted. You know what? I think Spurs might just do it, but I think Palace are going to put up a fight. So yeah, I might say just Spurs. But yeah, like we said, I think Palace are going to have a phenomenal season. And yeah, genuinely think they're going to stay up with that one. Perfect. Right. Well, thank you both. And thank you to everyone still watching. This is a lot longer than we usually do, but we had so much to talk about. So thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for sharing your opinions. We absolutely love it. And as Graham said, we can sum it up really nicely with Thundy Bees, Floaty L's. Oh, in a ding dong. Oh, that's something else. Completely something else.
Thundy Bees and Floaty L's to edge your ding dong. There you go.
And how to edge a ding dong. Yeah, it's It's got to be. That's got to be it. That can be the tagline of of the pod from now on. And speaking of the pod, if you have enjoyed this evening and you'd like to see more of us, follow us on the following, as you can see. So please do remember to like, subscribe, love, share, whatever you need to do these days, whatever the kids do, to get your notifications. So on Twitter, we are at Absolute Ball Pod. YouTube, we are at Absolute Football Podcast, and same on Twitch. On TikTok, we are at Absolute Football Pod. Same on Instagram and Threads, just add an underscore at the end. And of course, on Facebook, we are the Absolute Football Podcast. Remember, Mondays and Thursdays, there's Premier League and Lower League as well. We cover all football that you could ever possibly dream of. But we are here Wednesdays at 8:30. So thank you very much, both. I realised I also didn't say hello to you at the beginning. So Paul, hello and thank you. If people would like to see more of you, where can they find you?
They can find me. Oh, pointed the right way. There you go.
Mhm.
Hey.
Just for the record, I don't actually necessarily hate your team. If you join late, that's an in-joke. But you can find me at Paul W Radio on Twitter, and I might actually put "Yes, I hate your team" in my Twitter name for easy searching as well now.
Yeah, in case anyone's in any doubt, yes, you do. Just as a standard, yes, you do. And Danny, hello and thank you to you.
Hello, thank you.
In case anyone missed it, it was your birthday this week. So yeah, happy pod birthday for actually
Thanks.
seeing it in person. But yeah, where can people find more of you if they so wish?
Where are we? There we go. At Danny Brothers on Twitter, at Danny the Brothers on Instagram, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's all I'm on.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And yeah, if you want to see more of me, I'm at Freya Writes across all socials, and more about Villa Women at the Hall 115 Yards. So come and say hello. We love when people join in the chat. Thank you very much. Graham said we're on top form tonight. And also, welcome to the 40s Club, Danny. So we'll leave that one there.
Hiding it very well, am I?
Just a bunch of Thundy bees at the weekend for you.
yeah, definitely had some of them.
And that's the way it should be. But thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, thank you, everyone. That works. Everyone who's joined in the chat, joined an opinion, and for watching as well. We'll be back next week at 8:30. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.